Surf's up, penguins? How far can a penguin swim for lunch?
Did you know that penguins are like the surfers of the bird world? Sure, they can't fly in the sky, but boy, they can zoom through water. When they get hungry, some penguins go on a serious swim to grab a bite. These dapper-dressed birds can travel incredibly long distances just for a meal. Emperor penguins, the biggest of them all, can dive over 1,800 feet deep, that's taller than the Eiffel Tower, and hold their breath for more than 20 minutes. But wait for the big wave. They can swim as far as 500 miles to find food. Imagine traveling the distance between Miami and Atlanta just to get your lunch. That's like an underwater marathon. Why do they go so far? Well, they need to find the best seafood buffet. We're talking fish, squid, and krill to feed themselves and often to bring back for their little ones. Even though they waddle awkwardly on land, penguins are Olympic-level swimmers in the sea. So, next time you're near the ocean, think about the penguins catching waves far away. Surf's up, little buddies.
The chocolate tree whisperer. Can trees talk?
What if trees could talk to each other? You may think only in fairy tales, but the truth is even wilder. In a forest, trees, especially cocos, the ones that give us chocolate, can talk through a hidden network. This might sound like pure magic, but it's real science. They use a system called the Wood Wide Web. This underground network is created by fungi, and it connects tree roots across the forest. Trees can pass messages and share nutrients through this network. They warn each other about pests and even help their neighbors out if they're not getting enough sunlight. Imagine if you could send a slice of pizza to your friend's house through the grass. That's sort of how trees lend a helping hand, or root, to one another with things like water and sugar. Except trees do it all underground. So, while they can't chat or gossip like we do, trees have their own way of keeping in touch with each other, which is kind of like their secret conversations.
Mind-blowing space. Lint, the galaxy in your pocket.
What if I told you the lint in your pocket could be as old as the stars? Yes, that fluffy stuff you find after doing laundry. It's wild to think, but cosmic dust can actually make its way from space to Earth and end up mixed in with the lint you pull out from your jeans. Space dust floats around the universe, and our planet catches a tiny bit of it every day as Earth travels through space. Scientists say about 60 tons of cosmic dust fall to Earth daily. That's the weight of about 10 elephants. Some of this stardust has been flying through space for billions of years and could have come from ancient stars that exploded long before our sun was even born. So next time you clean out your pockets, think about it. You might just be holding a little piece of space history. Just imagine, a star exploded millions of years ago, and a tiny piece of it traveled across the universe to end up with your spare change and bubblegum wrappers. Space is closer than we think.
The mystifying time travelers. Can trees outlive dinosaurs?
Have you ever touched something that was alive during the time of the dinosaurs? Seems impossible, right? But what if I told you that it's not only possible, it's something you can do today? There are trees on our planet that are ancient, seriously old, older than many of the ruins and forgotten civilizations. These are the bristlecone pines. They can live for over 5,000 years. Some of these trees started growing more than 3,000 years before the time of the mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex. That means they've been alive through the rise and fall of empires, survived natural disasters, and watched species come and go. These trees are like nature's own time travelers. Just picture it, a tiny seed sprouting into a mighty tree, while all around it, the world keeps changing. Every ring in its trunk is like a page in a history book, telling stories of the past. So next time you see a really old tree, give it some respect. It might have been around since dinosaurs roamed the earth. How's that for a living history lesson?
Pizza-sized worms, Earth's legless underground giants.
It sounds like something out of a monster movie, but beneath our feet could be creatures as big as a slice of pizza. I'm talking about earthworms. Yes, earthworms. These wiggly creatures can be way larger than the ones you find in your garden. In fact, the giant Gippsland earthworm from Australia can grow up to 9 feet long. That's about as long as a small car or, well, lots of slices of pizza lined up. These supersized worms aren't something you'd come across every day, though. They live deep in the soil, so they're not easy to spot. But when they move, they can create a noise that sounds like a gurgling stream. So why should we care about these big wiggly fellows? Earthworms are super important for the soil. They help to break down dead plants and leaves, which makes the soil more fertile for other plants to grow. Plus, they even dig tunnels that help air and water move through the ground. So our underground friends might be out of sight, but their work lets us have nice gardens and parks. And who knows, if you're ever in Gippsland, you might just hear the underground rumble of a megaworm on the move.
Electric salad. Can a tomato generate electricity?
Imagine if your salad could power your phone. Sounds like science fiction, right? But here's something to think about. Tomatoes could actually be tiny power plants. So how can a tomato possibly create electricity? It's all about something called biophotovoltaics. This concept is where plants like tomatoes can make a teeny tiny amount of electric current. They do this during photosynthesis, which is how they turn sunlight, water, and CO2 into energy they need to grow. Some of that energy gets released into the soil as they make food for themselves. Now, don't start plugging your charger into a tomato just yet. The amount of electricity is super small, and scientists are still figuring out how to capture and use it effectively. But in the future, this could mean using leftover tomato plants from harvests, or even our whole gardens, to give us a bit of extra juice for our gadgets. So next time you look at a tomato, remember, it's not just a snack. It might be part of tomorrow's power stations.
The jumping highway. Can kangaroos influence air traffic?
What if the patterns of planes in the sky could be influenced by kangaroos? It sounds bizarre, but in Australia, the bounding of these iconic marsupials is helping to shape the way planes take off and land. Here's the scoop. At Australia's Cunnamulla Airport, there's no control tower. It's all open fields around, and kangaroos love hopping across those lands. Sometimes they skip right onto the runways, so pilots have to check for kangaroos before they touch down or take to the skies. But how does this affect air traffic? Well, because pilots need to be extra careful, they plan their landings and departures to avoid the times when kangas are most active, usually around dawn and dusk. This means airport schedules are literally hopping around kangaroo routines. It's a unique kind of air traffic control rooted in the spirit of coexisting with wildlife. This is one of those incredible ways in which animals and humans have to work together, and how we have to adapt to the wild ways of nature, even when we're flying high. Kangaroos might not know it, but they're part of why flying in Australia is so special.
Mouse magic. A rodent with a better memory than you?
Think you've got a good memory? Well, check out the hard drive in a mouse's brain. We usually chase them out of our houses, but these little critters could be memory champs. Mice can remember complex paths to find their way around mazes to get cheese or escape from scientists in labs. But here's the kicker. Some studies have shown that mice can even remember these paths for months or up to a year, which is a pretty long time in the mouse world. That's like you remembering exactly how to navigate a huge maze to your favorite snack spot without any Google Maps to help. Their memories are tied to survival instincts. They need to remember where the good food is and how to avoid places where they've seen their buddies get caught. So, they've got their own kind of intelligence, tuned to their mousy needs. Next time you underestimate a mouse, just think that in a tiny town of mazes, they might just be the mayor of memory lane.
Do elephants have a secret superpower in their trunks?
Ever thought an elephant's trunk was just for smelling and picking up food? Guess again. Their trunks are super sniffers. In fact, elephants have one of the most powerful noses on the planet. They can smell water from up to 12 miles away. That's like you being able to catch the whiff of a pizza from the next town over. During dry seasons, this ability is literally a lifesaver. They trek across the savanna and use their sniff-tastic trunks to find hidden water sources. Elephants don't just have a long nose for show. They can actually pick which direction a smell is coming from and remember the scent for the next time. It's kind of like they have built-in GPS for things that smell interesting to them. And their trunks are not just about smells. They can breathe through them like a snorkel, which is handy when they go for a swim. So, what looks like just a big floppy hose to us is actually an elephant's multi-tool for survival.
Can you eat lightning?
Hey there, have you ever watched a thunderstorm and seen the incredible display of lightning? It's both scary and fascinating, right? But here's a fun fact that might shock you. Lightning can actually make some food. When lightning strikes, it's super hot, like hotter than the surface of the sun. This heat can turn nitrogen in the air into a form that plants can use. This is called nitrogen fixation. Now, plants need nitrogen to make protein, which is super important for them to grow strong and healthy. And guess what? When we eat plants like veggies or even the animals that feed on those plants, we're actually eating something that was partially made by lightning. So in a way, you could say that when you munch on a salad or bite into a juicy steak, you're having a little piece of that stormy power. Isn't that cool? Thunderstorms aren't just nature's light show. They're also helping to feed the world in their own electrifying way. Follow me for more fun facts.